the United States gearing up for a full-scale invasion of Venezuela? To find the answer, we need to look at the massive reactivation of Cold War infrastructure that has been dormant for decades. Let's start with the Roosevelt Roads Naval Station in Puerto Rico. Once the largest U.S. naval base in the world, it was closed in 2004. But now, reports indicate it's being rapidly brought back online, turning this civilian zone back into a forward operating base. Then there's the Henry E. Rohlsen Airport in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It's not just for tourists anymore. It's being transformed into a logistics hub to support heavy military transport. So why is all this happening right now? There are two main triggers. First, Russia and China. Intelligence suggests Moscow and Beijing aren't just visiting Venezuela. They're attempting to set up permanent military bases. The U.S. sees this as a direct threat, a violation of the Monroe Doctrine that it simply cannot ignore. The second trigger. Oil. We're already seeing what looks like a prelude to war. U.S. Coast Guard helicopters have been spotted intercepting and seizing oil tankers leaving Venezuelan waters, effectively choking off the regime's cash flow before the first shot is even fired. So, what military assets are already in position? Near Puerto Rico, the U.S. Navy has assembled a specific kill chain. The USS Jason Dunham, an Arleigh-class destroyer, is at the forefront. Its role isn't just launching guided missiles. It's an electronic warfare machine. The Jason Dunham is there to jam Venezuelan communications and blind their coastal radars, creating confusion as the first line of attack. Then you have the USS Stockdale as the shield of the fleet. Equipped with advanced Aegis missile defense systems, its job is to shoot down any anti-ship missiles Venezuela might fire back. But how do we know this points to an invasion and not just a blockade? The answer is the USS Iwo Jima. This is a massive amphibious assault ship. You don't bring a ship like this unless you plan on putting boots on the ground. It's designed to launch waves of Marines onto a hostile beach. The U.S. isn't just planning an attack from the north, either. They're using the island nation of Trinidad and Tobago to close the back door. The U.S. Navy is using these waters to blockade the Gulf of Paria. Here, the USS gravely acts as a sentinel, ensuring no Venezuelan submarines or fast boats can escape into the Atlantic and threaten shipping lanes. Overseeing this entire operation is the USS Lake Erie, a Ticonderoga-class cruiser. It serves as the air defense commander, coordinating the movements of every ship and aircraft from its high-tech command center. But ships are slow. How will the U.S. deliver the first strike? This is where air power comes in. B-52 Stratofortress bombers won't even need to land in the Caribbean. They'll fly straight from the continental U.S., deliver a massive payload of cruise missiles, and return home. For fast attacks, the B-1 Lancer supersonic bombers will swoop in at low altitude and high speed to destroy hardened targets before the enemy even knows they're there. This is why Roosevelt Roads in Ciba, Puerto Rico, is so critical. It places tactical aircraft just minutes away from their targets. MQ-9 Reaper drones will loiter over Venezuela for hours, tracking mobile missile launchers and taking them out with Hellfire missiles the moment they move. Meanwhile, F-35s will be the door kickers. Their job is to penetrate Venezuelan airspace, undetected, and destroy their S-300 air defense batteries, clearing the way for other planes to fly safely. The V-22 Ospreys add another layer of speed and versatility. It also houses Harpoon, anti-ship missiles, and torpedo tubes. And if that's not enough, it carries a Seahawk helicopter, a submarine hunter equipped with sonar and torpedoes. These warships are designed for destruction and defense, but they aren't what you use for a land invasion. So, how do you launch a land invasion from the sea? That's where amphibious assault ships come in. They resemble small aircraft carriers but are focused on deploying ground forces. These ships carry thousands of Marines, trained for everything from quick raids to large-scale amphibious assaults. These Marines would execute precision strikes on cartel strongholds, government command centers, or key coastal infrastructure. Their urban combat training equips them to seize airports, communication hubs, and other critical points. Operating silently alongside the surface fleet would be a nuclear-powered attack submarine. It collects vital intelligence by intercepting communications and monitoring naval activity. It can also deliver surprise long-range missile strikes to disrupt command and control, jam air defenses, or destroy military facilities. Its presence also deters any third-party naval reinforcements from countries like Russia or Iran, extending the task force's eyes and ears of the P-8 Poseidon aircraft. They conduct continuous surveillance flights, tracking military movements and cartel smuggling operations. These planes work closely with ships and submarines to designate targets, and can also conduct electronic warfare to disrupt enemy communications. But why is a single submarine such a huge threat to an entire navy? The answer is, it's torpedoes. Here's how one works. Pressurized air propels the torpedo toward its target. A piston engine with propellers maximizes its speed. It trails a wire connected to the sub's weapon systems, using data to navigate. The torpedo accelerates to over 35 miles per hour, with a range of about 8 miles. As it nears its target, the wire is cut, and its own sonar takes over. If it misses, it can circle back and hunt the target again. One torpedo has the explosive power of 1,200 pounds of TNT. And now, reports suggest a new breed of supercavitating torpedoes are being developed, making them even deadlier. How would Venezuela counter this overwhelming force? The Venezuelan military, though smaller and less advanced, would rely on its knowledge of local geography, layered air defense sites, and a massive militia, reportedly numbering over 4.5 million people. They would use coastal patrols to challenge U.S. naval operations and missile systems to threaten incoming aircraft and ships. The cartels, deeply intertwined with some military elements, would use their familiarity with the terrain, fast boats, and smuggling networks to complicate U.S. efforts. They can evade surveillance and use the dense jungle for cover. The likely conflict would involve layered U.S. efforts to interdict cartel trafficking while using missile strikes to degrade the regime's response capability. Meanwhile, U.S. amphibious forces would move to seize strategic points and isolate loyalist elements. In response, Venezuela would mount a hybrid defense, combining conventional military resistance with isometric warfare from militia networks and cartel tactics. It's a classic strategy of using numerical strength and local knowledge to counterbalance a technological disadvantage. And finally, there's Russia. Russia's likely to supply Venezuela with long-range drones, like the Shade. These could be used for covert strikes against U.S. assets, leveraging their ability to loiter and conduct precision attacks on airfields or command centers. This would be part of a broader strategy to counter U.S. military pressure with asymmetric threats. We've only scratched the surface of modern military strategy. If you want to learn more about the sea, air, and land components of the nuclear triad, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.